It's a Sunday and I'm wearing my crazier glasses. So, it is another episode of the Righteous Gemstones, kind of a theology review. And there wasn't much theology for me to grab onto with this one, except the theme is not really theology this time. It's more just an overarching theme that I looked at and was just kind of laughing over, even if it's not a good one. Okay. Um, I'm doing The Righteous Gemstones, Season 1, Episode 6. Now the sons of Eli were worthless men. It's kind of the theme, I think, of the entire episode. We start with the van, the infamous red van, where, on Episode 4, you had Jesse chasing the van in his white car with Amber sitting next to him, and she kept asking him who those guys were. And he said, some guys I play car pranks with. And we all know it wasn't. He was trying to chase down the guy with the red van because he figured out that the guy with the red van was the one that was blackmailing him early on. So he's captured the van and stored it at Kelvin's house. So Kelvin and Jesse and Judy are all there surrounding the van. Judy, of course, takes it to 11 by grabbing some kind of metal that was beaten on the van. Let's tear it up, because that is the Judy we all know and love. I always say that in my heart of hearts, I like to think I'm a Judy Gemstone type, but I know in reality I probably have a lot more in common with Keefe than I do with Judy. Okay, so speaking of Keefe, while they are looking at the van and it's being rolled off the wrecker who's been towing it, because when Jesse and them were doing their thing, the van turned over and Gideon and Scotty scampered off into the woods. So you hear my husband in there, he's watching football. He's a football fanatic. I think he's nuts. So they scampered off into the bushes. Jesse never did find out exactly whose van that is and who was in it. So he has the van, he's storing it at Kelvin's, and then Keefe comes wandering out. I love Keefe. He's probably my favorite character on the show outside of Judy. Keefe wanders out wearing a t-shirt. He's asking them what they're doing. And they're all looking at him like with big eyes because Keefe is pantsless. Keefe is 100% pantsless, and we get to see a little bit of Keith's junk beneath his t-shirt. And I laughed at Judy because she said, cool mushroom tip. and Keefe just kind of covered himself a little bit, and that was the end of the scene. And then we saw a really sad sight. Poor Johnny Seasons in his church. His church was almost entirely empty. There's one lady that just keeps boo-hooing, boo-hooing, boo-hooing while Johnny Seasons is talking about having to close the church and that they'll continue to meet at his house until they find the proper place. And we get to see one of the guys that had showed up at the Gemstones Prayer Center, one of the ones that got stripped naked and walked back, approaching Johnny afterwards. They had some conversation. So poor Johnny Seasons was having to eat a big dose of reality. It was not going down well with him. And he was staring at the Gemstones Foundation, which apparently was right by where he was, where his church is. Now, I don't remember if there was a church near that mall, because that mall is where they were showing the real church was at the mall in North Charleston. And across the parking lot was the big white building we've seen used as a ministry building earlier in the show. But I don't remember if there was a park and a church next to it. That I don't remember. And then we opened on a golf situation going on. They're playing golf. You got Uncle Baby Billy and Tiffany. You got BJ and Judy and Eli all playing golf. And I don't know what Eli's problem is. He seems grumpy as F. He just does. He seems like nothing anybody is saying is making him happy at all. He always has a grumpy attitude about everything. Baby Billy starts talking to Judy and says that she's wasted, that he can't believe that Eli is not taking advantage of having Judy around. And while Eli's stomping around and doing his thing, he approaches Judy and tells her that she has a lot of things like Amy Lee. She looks like Amy Lee. She's got similar hair. They sort of kind of look alike. And he thinks she probably has Amy Lee's talent. Delusional. And if I had to come up with a theme for today, it would be secrets. Secrets kept, and how far a man will go, or a woman, to hold their secrets, to make sure they aren't exposed. So secretiveness, secrets, that is really what's going on. And a lack of all empathy as far as I can see, which isn't unheard of in evangelical town. Secrets are huge. Everybody has them. They have weird ones. I learned that in my years at my Quiverful church. And getting to hear some people's secrets when I really didn't want to, you know. So so then we go to Amber trying to talk to Jesse about the car pranks thing. She wants to know what's going on with that red van, and I don't blame her a bit, because the whole story that Jesse was telling is very, very suspicious. And Amber's not stupid. Amber tries to tell Jesse that she knows this isn't normal or right or anything, and she wants to know what the dealio is. He won't tell her. He starts going on about car pranks. He sticks to the car prank story, even though it makes zero sense in how he's telling it. But he is saved from having to really answer because Gideon shows up with glasses and a hat on, and Amber makes him take the glasses off and says, "I want to see your beautiful face." And she discovers that Gideon's all bruised up. Amber flips out at that, and Gideon has his own secrets. He tells Amber he had a dirt bike accident. So Jesse makes a smart remark about Gideon being able to take a licking because of his stuntman training. If only he knew. Then we have all three of the siblings again showing up at Kelvin's. Kelvin says that Keefe tried to run the plates on the van, and they came up as stolen from another vehicle. But here's where Kelvin says Keefe lost his DMV job for pulling that. And you would think that Jesse would have some empathy, but no sympathy, no empathy, no nothing. It's kind of like, that was a stupid job anyway. Except that he didn't say that. He said the SHIT word, TY, which is pretty awful, because all work, as far as I'm concerned, is good work. I mean, if you're working and you're getting a paycheck and you are able to support yourself on your paycheck, and your company is not taking advantage of you, and usually those state jobs at DMV, usually you can make pretty decent money, at least good insurance. So him dissing poor Keefe's job when they've already leaned on Keefe a couple times to do stuff for them, like run traffic cameras and now the plates. And Jesse bemoans the fact that the VIN number is scratched out on the vehicle. You can't read it. And I guess he doesn't understand, or it wasn't explained to Jesse. And this is one of those few times where I'm looking at it going, yeah, you missed this. The VIN number is not just in one place on the vehicle. You know, usually it's on a little plate in the windshield on the driver's side. Sometimes it's on the passengers, but most of the time it's on that driver's side. I want to say it's a 17-digit number. It's a long number. I sold cars before in college and later. And the VIN number is not just there. It is usually you can find it like on the inside of one of the doors. There's a bunch of different places you might find the VIN number in the car. So apparently Jesse doesn't know that because he only looks for it in one place and it's all scratched out. Oh, so Judy and Jesse are looking at Kelvin's newest toy, a fried chicken soda machine from Fancy Nancy's, because Kelvin put Dot Nancy on the straight and narrow. So the Nancys were so grateful they gave him the soda machine that makes just about every kind of soda you could think of. Then ego pops in. Kelvin starts talking about how he's practicing Swahili because he is the one that is getting ready to do the refugee roses, give roses to every refugee coming through, and he's having to learn Swahili because they're all from that part of Africa where Swahili is spoken. And he brags about this. Judy, of course, loses it and trashes the soda machine while Jesse just laughs. It turns out that that was something that Judy wanted to do, and yet again Judy got pushed aside for somebody with a penis. And she's so jealous that she beats up his machine. Then she stomps off. And Jesse does something uncharacteristically nice for him. He chases her down and tries to talk to her as she's walking along, the gemstone paved pathways that they use their golf carts on. He tries to talk to her and asks her what she's going to do next. And she says, I'm going to move to Malibu Beach, shave my Pussy, and learn how to surf. My favorite Judy line of all times. And they start arguing. He asks her why she's going to shave, and she says so she can surf faster. This is just a typical Judy. They argue and pick and fuss back and forth until he offers to take Judy back to the house. Then he pulls a bunch of juvenile stunts about moving the golf cart ahead each time she tries to get in. The kind of stupid stuff that people do in high school. But in the end, he gets her in the cart and away they go. Oh, and then we get to Scotty. We get to see Scotty. He is livid and ranting. And he's very upset about the fact that his van is gone and he's on the campgrounds without the van. Flipping out over the tent he's trying to put together in front of Gideon, saying it has holes. He's all mad. He's demanding his van back. And he's screeching the F word a lot, which is actually kind of funny because the campground is crowded. And there are a lot of family-type people there who are giving him kind of the evil eye for saying that over and over in front of their kids. That was a short little throwaway scene. And then we have Jesse back with his posse and Kelvin. And they're going over all the crap that they pulled out of the van. A lot of it is just junk, like canned food, a copy of Dianetics, which is the book for Scientology, or as Kelvin likes to say, the fake Bible, and just a bunch of really ridiculous stuff, right down to dirty paper towels. While they're going through all of this, Jesse calls whoever it is. He says they are effing amateurs. And then everyone's phone starts ringing. One at a time, Jesse's rings, and then each one of his little posse members' phones ring until Kelvin's rings, and Jesse finally answers it. And it's Scotty. He wants his van back, and he threatens Jesse that if Jesse does not give him his van back, he's going to release the video. Jesse gets mad and says no. He calls him a coward and a loser and all kinds of different things, and says that if he was going to release the footage, he would have already have done it, and he's not paying anything. He's not giving the van back. Go suck an egg, basically, but more obscene than that. Oh, and then we see Judy with baby Billy, Uncle Baby Billy, who's trying to audition her to see if she can sing and she can dance. She asks Aunt Tiffany to play the piano and asks her what song she knows. She says, This Little Light of Mine and Britney Spears' Toxic. So Judy says, either one of them is good. She knows how to sing and dance to each one of those songs. So Tiffany goes with This Little Light of Mine. I'm going to let it shine. Judy starts singing it. Her singing voice is okay. She's never going to replace Britney Spears, but she's not making your ears bleed, so that's good. Then she starts trying to dance, and it is just all kinds of awkwardness going like this. It would be like me trying to dance, and I am a terrible dancer. I'm 3 left feet and 2 of them are on backwards. So that's Judy dancing too. But she gives it an old college try. Baby Billy tells her she is going to be fabulous. He's going to help her. She's got Amy Lee's talent. Well, not quite, because Amy Lee could do the thing with her clogging shoes. She could clog just fine. Judy, not quite so. She reminds me of the kids that were in my, when I used to take dance lessons, I took tap for a while. And the first recital we had, I swear we all danced like that, like we were on crack or something. It was not a good look for anybody, not even 6-year-old kids, much less what he was calling her, Judy Lee, poor Judy Lee. So Jesse and the gang go to the pier over the wetlands, one of the piers over the wetlands. One of the things that's really nice about the Low Countries, and I saw that when we spent a week there over Christmas, is there's all this water that you can get to. There's all these beaches and wetlands and piers. This is very beautiful and very natural. There's all kinds of islands. So they go to one of these places. It's all deserted. And they're at the very end of the pier, like where you would be standing if you were just going to be watching. Jesse hands out the coins that Gregory made for everybody. The ones that he confiscated when they first started doing this thing where they were going to find out who the blackmailer was. And he hands them out. He has zero compassion for Chad having been injured during this thing, getting gunshot over at Johnny Season's house. So Jesse seems to have zero compassion or empathy, sympathy for anybody struggling in this entire episode. This is a theme sometimes with him. So no empathy there either. So he passes out those coins of Gregory's and says they're celebrating keeping their secret by taking the coins and tossing them off the pier into the water, and says, as the coins sink, so do our secrets. Not quite. So Scotty is still raging and raving and just like losing it in the campgrounds, saying every obscenity you could imagine. He is threatening to go unalive Jesse, threatening all kinds of crazy stuff. But Gideon points out very rightly to him that the money heist is still on. But if he does anything evil, like tries to bump somebody off, the money heist will probably be off. So if you want to get paid, he's going to have to hang in there at the campgrounds, I guess. Then Eli's having a meeting in his office. One of those awful professional development kind of meetings. I used to hate it when I worked places and they would have these meetings. It could have been a memo. This could have been a memo too. It's Kelvin, Judy, and Martin in this meeting. Judy has been out of shape yet again by the fact that she has a lack of an official role in the church. She's just doing secretarial kind of work and working with Martin, trying to get things done. And she wants more than that. She wants the kind of roles that her brothers are getting. And she complains to Eli and says, I want these roles, blah, blah, blah. And Eli pretty much reprimands her and says that she's right where she needs to be in the organization, which is doing that sort of thing. And Judy loses it and attacks Kelvin after he says something about Judy not being capable because she's a woman. So she attacks him. And Eli loses it. He says, like, uncaging a wild animal. You're an embarrassment, he tells her. Kelvin starts sucking up immediately to Eli. It's kind of to watch that part at least. That's right, Daddy, sort of thing. So Judy loses it at that point, even worse. And she tells Eli about baby Billy, thinking that she has talent and that she's going to be dancing with baby Billy, Uncle Baby Billy. Eli says she's not talented. She's not that talented. And baby Billy is just trying to piss Eli off. That's it. He is using her. Judy gets mad and leaves after making claims about her period starting. Good one, Judy. And is so enraged when she leaves. She pulls Calvin's hair and was like sprinkling over his head. And then she slams the door 4 times real loud. I'm going to have to remember that move if I ever get super mad again. Slam that door again and again and again. Emphasize just how mad you are. Then we move to Jesse and Gideon. Gideon is working out. He's doing his Karate Man moves. And Jesse tells Gideon how happy he is that Gideon is home. It's one of the few times we've seen Jesse actually be decent to Gideon since Gideon got back. He was sure a jerk to him at the very beginning. They shake hands and they have some awkward hugs. It's kind of weird. And then he asks Gideon to help him with a very important project, which turns out to be a new family photo. And we get to see the entire family dressed up all in white. And they take a series of family photos. You can see how happy they are to be reunited. The next thing we see is the service where Kelvin is passing out roses to the refugees and speaking to them in Swahili. And then we cut to the Gemstone Family Prayer Center in Locust Grove. And Eli is confronting baby Billy over using Judy and saying, Judy's not that good. You're just using her to try and get back at me and to win some of your glory back from your days with Amy Lee. Uncle Baby Billy tells Eli that he's still pissed off at him for taking Amy Lee away from him. So he's never gotten over that. He still holds that against Eli, and they don't agree. Uncle Baby Billy runs off. He goes off and says he's got a show to put on, and he starts his church service. Judy's in a dressing room, and she's doing her warm-up that I have to laugh because it showed up in season 2 and season 3 too. Her children of the corn. Children of the corn. It's too high for me and I'm not warmed up. So she's doing her Children of the Corn warm-up while BJ watches. BJ tells her, oh, honey, you're doing such a good job. He's supportive. BJ is really the best. So BJ is watching her and seeing how nervous she is. Judy wants sex. That's how Judy says, that's how I'm going to get my nerves out. We need to have sex. So she starts being really inappropriate. She grabs BJ and pulls his pants down and starts spanking him hard on his white rear end. So we can see his vivid white ass. I have to laugh. And she's just flailing all over the place. At some point, she hits him right in the penis. And he's like, Judy, no. So then BJ gives her his present to celebrate her debut. And it is a soda stream because he apparently had been raving to BJ about being jealous over Kelvin's Fancy Nancy's fried chicken soda machine. So he tries. He gives her a soda stream, not quite the same thing. And he says, I got you, girl, when she complains about how it's limited. He says, I got you all the flavors of syrup. How sweet. He tells her he's going to go to the car so that she can, what my kids used to call exacerbate in peace, so that she can practice self-love and peace to calm herself down. What a considerate partner. So finally, it happens. Judy and baby Billy dance and sing. BJ's in the audience, thrilled. In the very back, we see Eli standing there watching the whole thing. Judy does okay with the singing. They do, um, Mama told me not to, I did it anyway, misbehaving. Her Mama and Uncle Baby Billy song is what they do. And she does okay on the singing. But then we get to the clogging, and she just hesitates. She freezes like a deer in the headlights for a little while until she finally steps forward and starts dancing. And the crowd goes wild. Now she still can't dance. She still dances like she's a spastic, like those of us in my childhood tap class. That hadn't improved any. But she finally does it, and she actually loves it. She is just getting into it. She's getting into the fact that the crowd seems to love her. And when Eli's looking at her and he's looking at the old film of Uncle Baby Billy and Judy Lee as little children doing this, at some point he sees Amy Lee dancing for just a hair second. And they don't really tell us whether he approves of what Judy Lee is doing or not, whether he thinks she has talent. But he doesn't interfere and he backs off. So then we start with Jesse and the family playing Jenga. They have a big Jenga tower. They're all playing even Gideon. They're having a good old-fashioned family time. And then the next thing you hear, the phone rings, and Scotty is at the guard shack, wanting to come visit Jesse's house and see his old pal from California, Gideon. So the show ends with Scotty driving onto the compound after he's been given directions to Jesse's house. So the wolf is in the hen house, and it just is going to get crazier from there. All kinds of fun stuff is going to happen next episode, I know. But like I said, the themes that keep coming out is Jesse with no mercy, no compassion, no empathy or sympathy for anybody but himself. And not only just no empathy or sympathy, he is all about his own secrets. He wants to keep his own secrets, not knowing that Gideon has big secrets too. They all have big secrets in their own weird little ways. And so secret seems to be a thing. It's not a good thing. It's better to keep fewer secrets, to live your life like an open book in a lot of ways, because guess what? When you don't have secrets, you don't have to remember anything. You can just tell the truth all the time. But apparently that's not a thing in the Righteous Gemstones world. So if you take anything away from today, it's that secrets are not good. And they can do a lot of destruction. And the longer you keep a secret, the more it can snowball and totally destroy a whole lot of crap. Worse than Judy, even. Okay, you guys, I'm done. I will see you next week with another episode. Hopefully there'll be some kind of theology I can actually sink my teeth into more than Kelvin giving out roses to foreign refugees. You know, that is one of my things that I absolutely cannot stand about evangelical Christianity, is the way that they exploit people in foreign lands and say they are doing ministry, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're helping them, they're bringing them to Christ. No, what you're doing is you are pushing your cultural religion on them. If I had $1 for every time here in Costa Rica I see teenagers show up in a mission trip who spend, I don't know, the first half of the day trudging around, very begrudgingly doing something, whether it's handing out food, mixing concrete to make a sidewalk, or whatever they're doing. And then come afternoon, if it's raining, they're clogging up the coffee shop, so we can't even sit down and have coffee and access the internet. And if it's not raining, they're all on the beach. So I've always called these things missioncations. Not a big fan of them. And not a big fan of churches that reach out to other people groups and try to shoehorn them into their own religious culture. But it happens. It happens. So, see you guys next week. Thank you for watching.